Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are so honored. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, my name is Ashley Anderson, and I'm the founder and executive director of SAFFT.
And I'm Brian Anderson, and I'm our COO and our co-founder of SAFFT.
We are honored and humbled to stand before you all today to celebrate the opening of this facility. This has been a dream for both Brian and I and our board of directors. I personally have felt called to come into Gainesville for 3 years. We started in Forsyth County, and we have a 10,000 square foot facility there, but we really felt the need in Hall County, and we have a heart for this community, and we really wanted to bring the services here. So we're excited, and we really want to give God all of the glory for what SAFFT is today and where we are today, and that He gets all the praise for everything that we have. I would also like to take a minute and recognize our elected officials in the room. We have Mayor of Gainesville, Danny Dunnigan.
Thank you, Ashley. Before I get started, I want to introduce some of our staff that's here today. Councilwoman Barbara Brooks, Assistant City Manager Angela Shepard. We've got some of our Gainesville's finest sitting in the back, Chief Carol Martin, Deputy Chief Jay Parrish, Kevin Holbrook, and I think, is Brian around here somewhere? He's coming. Okay, Brian Lackey, our new city manager, is on his way. So welcome on behalf of the Gainesville City Council, and we want to welcome SAFFT to Gainesville and in Hall County. I know when we met, what was it, a year or so ago, we met at Two Dog. And first this with Angela and Councilwoman Ruth Bruner at that time, with some other judges and so forth. It was a no-brainer. Y'all needed to come to Gainesville. And I wish your services weren't needed, but unfortunately they are. And one of your missions is to fix a broken child before it's a broken adult. And there's not anything we can do more than help our children, especially in the best circumstances. But on behalf of the City of Gainesville, City Council, welcome to Gainesville. Thank you.
I also want to recognize the Honorable Chief Superior Court Judge Andrew Fuller, the Honorable Superior Court Judge Kathleen Goslin, the Honorable Superior Court Judge Bonnie Oliver, and then our Honorable Chief Juvenile Court Judge Burton, the Honorable Juvenile Court Judge Toller, and the Honorable Juvenile Court Judge Diaz. Thank you for being here. I also want to thank and acknowledge our SAFFT Board of Directors. Many of them are here in the room, and so we thank you for being here today and all that you have done throughout the years. Also, our community partners that are here, you know who you are, the agencies that are doing what we're doing. So I see many of you in the room, and we thank you for your service. Additionally, I would like to thank all of our staff and volunteers. They really are the heartbeat and the reason that this facility looks the way that it does. They have been working around the clock. So thank you to our staff and to our volunteers. We appreciate you. I also want to thank our church, Free Chapel, and Pastor Franklin and all the other pastors that are here today. I'm so grateful for the foundation that church gave me growing up in the church, and for all that you do for the families and the children, not only in this community, but in all the other campuses, Gwinnett, Spartanburg, and Orange County. We're honored to have you here today. The team and pastor have been so generous over the years to SAFFT, including donating furniture for the facility. There was a financial contribution last year, and just all of the volunteer hours from Divine Ministry and the youth department and the small groups. So we're so thankful for our church. Thank you all for being here. We're honored. I also want to thank our room sponsors, Aeon Labs, City of Refuge, Randy and Stephanie McGee, Bruce and Rhonda Deal from City of Refuge, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and Mike and Shannon Massey. Thank you so much for sewing into this project and becoming a room sponsor. We're grateful for your support. Also, I have to highlight the partners and the companies and all the individuals that directly had a hand in in renovating this facility. when we did approach the city of Gainesville, we talked about a couple of different facilities that were available, and Angela really wanted us to see this one, and I fell in love with it immediately. I knew it was on the smaller side than what we're used to, but we were willing to start here and grow. But the walls were not bright, there was no decor, and so we knocked down some walls and really expanded the room so the families and children could enjoy their time here together. So the people that had a hand in that is Hall County Superior and Juvenile Court, Promoting Safe and Stable Families, the AOM Foundation, Hall County DFACS and the Board of Directors, the Hall County Commissioners, the Gainesville City Council, and of course Mayor Dunnigan. So thank you so much to all of those. I also want to recognize our vendors that had a hand in this project. Gainesville Flooring and Paint donated so much. Carpet, Covase. I didn't know what Covase was until we did this project, but Covase, that's how I say it, right? Okay. And the paint and the small groups that came out and painted, and all of them are listed on our banner. The electrical company, the drywall company, but I cannot forget Jomco. If Wesley and Mike would stand up, please. You guys were our contractor for the project. Construction is not my specialty, so it was helpful not to have to manage all of the vendors. And so, Mike, you have put in, particularly on behalf of Jomco, put in countless hours, and I know all the things you did behind the scenes that you went above and beyond. So if you would please stand, I would like to give you a standing ovation for what you did for SAFFT and this visitation center becoming a reality. Okay, so real quick before we get into our speakers, and I'm so excited for you all to hear from them today, I want to tell you about who is SAFFT and why are we here. SAFFT is a nonprofit organization. We're 501c3. We formed in 2009. Brian and I were foster parents at the time, and we originally started because we felt like there was no support for foster and adoptive families. We were on an island alone, and we, I think, fostered over 11 children, and we had some challenges. And so we originally, instead of quitting, we decided to form a supportive network. But unfortunately, the organization had to expand and progress because there were 2 children that we took into our foster home, and they were part of a sibling group of 4. And I always tell this story. I think it's important for everyone to hear, even those that have heard me tell this, because this center and the one in Forsyth County is in honor of those 4 children. They were safe in a foster home, but they were going on their supervised visitation with their parents in the community, and they were being sexually abused. And no one knew for a couple of months. And so it was extremely traumatic for those children. And we know because we had to pick up the pieces for years, and we were honored to. But this center is truly in honor of that sibling group of 4 so that no other child would have to endure that under our watch, at least. So this place is dedicated in honor to them. However, not every parent abuses their child. There are a lot of parents that just have generational issues and grew up a certain way and are repeating what they were taught. And so that's really where we get excited, because our mission is to protect children, which I just told you why. But our second part of our mission is to rebuild families. And we feel like that is the core of community change. Children coming into foster care, they're not looking for a new family. They don't want a new family. They want their own families, healthy and stronger. And so if they're going to go home, we want to give them every resource possible. We want to make it abundantly clear so that children can have permanency faster. And so that's really the core of the work that we're doing here in the Family Crisis Center. The last part of our mission is to empower caregivers, and we still do that today. We have a lot of supportive programs that we offer so that foster and adoptive parents aren't struggling like we were when we started. So I'll turn it over to Brian, and then we will get started with the rest of our program.
Thank you. I just want to say one quick stat, and some of you guys have heard this before, some maybe not, but if you go online and you look this up, you'll find that in almost every study, 80% of the prison population has been in foster care at least once. So if you take that statistic and then you connect it to the fact that there's around 9,000 children at any one time in foster care in Georgia, it begins to hit home, right? And then you think about the 200 kids that are in foster care right here in Hall County at any time. And then you begin to think about the next 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, what that's going to look like for those kids because of the statistics being so against them. It's clear that we have a problem, and it's up to us as a community to solve it. Social services alone is not going to solve it. Money is not going to solve it. A community is going to solve it. So really, we're just called to focus on family regeneration and really support those kids that are in care, but then continue to sustain them by supporting their families. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to a video here. And bear with us. It's about 10 minutes or so, but it really tells the story of our of a mom that we have served recently that has actually completed our program. And she came to us in complete hopelessness, and now her life is completely restored because of the programming that she went through here at SAFFT. So we'd like you guys to take a look at this, and we'll then continue.
My name's Jessica Cohn. I had, I guess, a pretty happy childhood, I think. My dad, he had custody of us. My parents got divorced when I was 1, and he kind of kept us away from my mom. He always told us it was because she used to hit us, but they went back and forth in court and was finally able to get visitation with us. So that was a little after I turned 6. It was just a very toxic environment where we lived at. It was South Texas, and it was just a lot of violence, and kind of felt like growing up too fast. So I just saw a lot of things that a normal child shouldn't. I thought going out to parties was normal when I was 9, but I just never saw anything wrong with it. We were always physically punished. The belt, or like a hanger, like the wire hanger. So it was just, I don't know, very intense. I felt scared. Upset. But I knew my dad loved us, but I guess that's just the way he was raised, was by hitting. So it just felt normal, but I know it wasn't. I would run away a lot, just leave and then come back. It was just a crazy time. At the age of 11, my mom got custody of us, and we moved to Georgia. We've bumped heads forever, so it was really hard living with her. Eventually got to a point where she told me that I'm the abortion she wished she had. So that was probably the most hurtful thing that she could probably say to me. It made me know exactly what I didn't want to be. After high school, I got into Georgia State, and I met my baby's father. He got me into drugs. He got me into psychedelics, and I'd smoke marijuana every day, all day. Cocaine, just literally almost everything except for heroin. When I took the drugs, I just didn't care. I felt like I was having fun. I first got pregnant when we were at our first apartment. We were just partying all the time. We were on another eviction because I quit my job. He quit his. A couple weeks after, I found out I was pregnant with Andrew. And I really couldn't bond with him. So I just really went into a huge depression. So I asked my mom to take care of him for a month while I got myself together. That didn't happen because we were just doing drugs instead. And so I never got my act together, and finally it got to a point where we didn't have power. We were on eviction, and my mom was saying that she wasn't going to help me out anymore. So his mom took over of Andrew. She filed court papers for custody of him. I tried to kill myself. So I felt that everything would be better if I just went away. I didn't get out of my depression because I got pregnant again. I considered abortion because Andrew was only 6 months old and I was pregnant again. I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I didn't even have Andrew, so I was kind of freaking out. But since everybody else was kind of telling me and pushing me to get an abortion, it made me really think that it's my body. It's happening for a reason. At the time, we were doing all those drugs, so I immediately stopped everything. I started getting healthier. I told my dad I was pregnant, so he was the only one that really encouraged my pregnancy. My mom yelled at me. She asked me why I was doing this to the family. He came early. He was 3.5 weeks early. And mainly because I think my father, he passed away a week before he was born. So I think that's what made him come early. But everything turned out fine. He was born naturally and healthy, 5 pounds, 7 ounces. And he looks exactly like me and my dad. So he was just my perfect little baby. I named him after my dad. His middle name is my dad's name, Jesse. I was living with my mom after I had Lucas. I was doing good. I started working. We just butted heads. She didn't like me living with her. And it got to a point where I was feeding Lucas and she was hitting me while I had Lucas in my arms. So that made me move out. So I was just, jumping from friends to friends' houses with Lucas, and someone just called defects on me saying that I didn't have a stable home. That's how I ended up technically being homeless, is jumping from place to place, not really knowing where you're gonna go the next day. The father of my kids is not involved at all. I was 23 when I got in contact with SAFFT. It was about 7 months ago DFACS had been involved in my life for about a year because I was homeless, and I had Lucas. And so when DFACS was called, I had to have Lucas go somewhere or DFACS would take him. The only way I could visit Lucas was to visit him at SAFFT. It was initially court ordered. I thought it was kind of inconvenient, but after a few months of being there and getting parent aid and, parenting classes, constant help, I completely changed my mind. I could see how SAFFT was wanting to help me instead of keeping my child. I have been 6 months sober, and I can see what's actually going on in life right now. I think if SAFFT never got involved, I would be doing the same thing that I had been doing, which was nothing. What I like most about SAFFT, their constant encouragement to do better. And they praise a lot, which is extremely positive for a person who's always had negativity in my life. SAFFT means the world to me. I owe them my life. I've gotten encouragement from them more than I have ever from my family. I feel comfortable with them. I could be open with them. Honestly, I thank God for putting them in my life. But I think God guided me towards them. They're just caring. It's like family that I never had. Courtney Ayers, she was my parenting teacher. And she called me. She's like, well, I have this friend who wants to donate her car, and she was asking me if I knew anyone, and I was wondering if you wanted it. And I was like, yeah. What do I have to do? She's like, well, you have to have a valid license. And I'm like, I have a valid license. So I go in, and she has the title in her hand, and she's just ready to sign the car over to me. And I'm like, this is seriously happening right now. And she's like, yeah, let me show you the car. We go outside, and it's this beautiful mini SUV, and I was like, oh my god, this is so exciting. So I literally cried. I was in shock. I was in a hardcore shock because I couldn't believe that this was actually happening. It's all paid off for. Like, I don't have car payments. It's an amazing feeling. It's just one step better than I was doing before. I didn't have my car. I'd just gotten it repoed because I wasn't paying it. So yeah, it's just really crazy how you get involved in a certain community that's outside of the community you've been involved in, and how much your life just completely changes for the positive. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. I know it's been a crazy long road, but you stuck by my side, and I'm very happy you did, or else I would not be here doing better.
This is what we're really all about. Those kids that come into foster care, if we can change, if we can help that parent, we believe that's the best way to help the child. If not, if the parent's not willing to do what it takes and to turn their life around, then it's clear and that child is better off in another family. But we're going to do everything that we can here. And this is just one story of so many. I wish she was here today, but this is a real life client that we served, and there's so many families that have gotten their kids back in Forsyth County, and we cannot wait to see the impact that we can make here in Hall County, not just because of SAFFT, but through God and through everything that He does for these families. And we just wake up every day and ask Him to guide our steps. And so we are humbled and honored to be able to serve in this organization. It's a dream. So with that, you won't hear from me anymore. I want to introduce our speakers that we have, people that are amazing in this community and are leading this community. And so if you please would give a warm welcome to Mr. Mayor Dunny Danigan.
Thank you, Ashley. What an amazing story. It maybe brings tears to your eyes, but everything that y'all will do and can do is going to be so much appreciated in this community. And I just can't tell you how happy we are that y'all are here and to help them. I've got an employee myself that I think is going through some tough times, and I'm really trying to work with her. So maybe I'll send her y'all's way. But she's a sweet child and has got children, and it's a sad situation. And it's unfortunate that we've got to have that today. But on behalf of Gainesville, as I said before, welcome. We're here to help you in any way we possibly can, and we're happy that you're here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, the Honorable Chief Judge, Superior Court, Mr. Andrew Filler.
Thank you, Ashley. For those of you that know me, you also know I'm unapologetic for the pride that I take in the community that we're all blessed to live in. I know each of you would agree we have a tremendously strong community of faith, is no better represented today than Pastor Franklin being here, as well as all other members of our churches. We also have a tremendous government of leadership as represented by the mayor and councilwoman and all others here that are here on behalf of some form of government. We have a tremendously strong volunteer community within the area that we live, and we're well served by so many different programs that every once in a while it's nice to be nudged from the side to realize very quickly that there's room for other programs. Now, Brian and Ashley Anderson have arrived in our community, and I think Ashley mentioned while referencing the building the phrase knock down a few walls. And Ashley and Brian specialize in that, and they knock down walls of all types, and they shake a few trees. And one of the trees that she shook, along with Brian, was the tree that I work within, our justice system. We have a very fine legal community in this area, and we're well served by just about every volunteer agency you could have that contributes to our system. But when Ashley first approached and brought up the idea of SAFFT, Judge Oliver, myself, Judge Deal, Judge Goslin, we kind of looked at each other and said, well, I must admit that I'm kind of tired of having a case before me and deciding that we've got to have some visitation here between a parent, because that parent may have been estranged, as to some degree you saw in the video, and other reasons. And that visitation does need to be supervised, and it needs to occur at the Hall County Detention Center parking lot. And of course, that's in our past from a long time ago, but within my past, and that's where we in the judicial system oftentimes had to have supervised visitation. Can you imagine that? So much to my delight now, Ashley and Brian did come knocking, and much to my delight, Forsyth County for years has supported this project. Dawson County, to Dawson County's credit, one of our counties within our judicial circuit supported SAFFT. And now Ashley has accomplished what we all wanted, a welcome to Hall County, Gainesville, and all the other areas. so that we can do what all of us have always recognized, that indeed our world's greatest asset are its children. And it's our greatest hope for our future, too. And thus, when I now am presiding, Judge Oliver's presiding over a high conflict situation that also is a high risk situation for young children, we now can have a great deal of comfort knowing that we're going to be able to promote what I know Pastor Franklin will support, that a parent and child relationship is amongst the most important relationships within our society. And we must always aggressively pursue the building of that when any circumstances exist that will allow that to be done safely, in a neutral environment, and monitored by professionals who can promote that interest in the positive way that we need to see that done on behalf of our society as we look forward to being a society of a family unit, what we've always been over history and time. And thus we can make sure we nurture that most valuable asset so that it is indeed the future that we all long to see from children who will be functional, who will be contributors, and who will provide the community that we have all come to love, the Gainesville-Hall County community as it is today. And we appreciate again Ashley, we appreciate Brian, we look forward to this great facility, and we look forward to many, many positive things coming in the lives of families that will be in our system, and now in our system in a way that we can help foster that love and support that children so desperately need. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here on behalf of everyone within our court system. It indeed takes a village. We practice that in our court system also, and I won't call each judge by name or each person that contributes, but we're all delighted to see SAFFT here and look forward to using it for many, many, many years to come. I know the mayor's going to look forward to finding a lot of money to put in this pot, as well as the chairman of our county commission, and no pressure intended, but we'll look forward to nothing but great growth here. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and I'm glad you're all here to support this great program.
I would say amen to that. You know, we did expand and open a second facility in Dawson County 2 years ago to support Hall County, but it just was not convenient to the Gainesville residents. And that facility and the program here also supports supervised visitation and safe custody exchanges for victims of domestic violence. We make sure that if they're coming to us from the Superior Court, that they are having no interaction with the dangerous party, but the child still gets to visit and maintain the relationship with both parents. So we just thank the Superior Court for being behind us. I know Judge Dill couldn't be here today due to a trial, but all of you have been with us along the way, and we're just so grateful for your support. Speaking of grateful for support, we have a fabulous team of juvenile court judges, and we have the Honorable Chief Juvenile Court Judge Lindsay Burton here to speak on behalf of the juvenile court. So thank you, and welcome her.
For the last 2 years, anytime I've been given the opportunity to speak at any public function, whether or not it's a civic organization, a women's book club, really anything, I've gotten on my soapbox about the need for local foster families. So here I am again, talking about the need for local foster families. And we have continued to speak about this very critical issue. Hall County is in a state of crisis with more than 200 children in foster care. 85% of those children are not here in Hall County. They're as far as Brunswick, Augusta, hours upon hours away. And so while we continue to educate the community, we've seen some success. We've gotten great press coverage from the local paper. I speak on the radio on a fairly regular basis, and we see some progress. We've seen some more foster families, local foster families, joining, whether or not it's the Department of Family and Children's Services or other private nonprofit organizations. And so with the influx of, we hope, a lot more local foster families, the next question is, how can we keep them and how can we support them? And here is Ashley and Brian. And so they're here to support local foster families because they know better than anybody that local foster families need the support. They need a group where they can go and feel safe and vent about the system, hopefully not too much about the judges, to talk about their unique experiences that only really foster parents have. A resource closet where if no one's needed a high chair in their house for maybe 5 or 6 years and all of a sudden a new little one joins their house, they can come here and get the necessities. Frozen meals for the first 3 or 4 really chaotic days when you get a new child into your home. And so as we start to recruit more foster families, I have hope that we will be able to continue to do that because of the support that SAFFT is giving to our local foster families. So that gives me great hope. Juvenile court is difficult on a lot of days. We deal with traumatized parents. We deal with traumatized children. Some of the most joyful days I have are when I have the opportunity to preside over adoptions, where I get to see families that I've worked with for a long time, those kids finding safe and appropriate homes with different parents. But I take just as much joy, maybe even more so, when I get to be participating in a reunification where birth parents get the skills that they need to become a parent. Most of the parents that I see, well, a lot of them came out of the foster care system themselves, that they've never really had any model, that they've never in their life sat down at a dinner table with their family. That's remarkable to me, but that's the situation with most of the parents in front of us. They don't have any models, they don't have any real parenting skills that's been shown to them, yet we're expecting these oftentimes very young parents to be good parents themselves. And that's not likely to occur. And so for cases that are referred to the SAFFT parent or to the SAFFT center, what services these birth parents get? They get parent aid coaching where they talk before a visitation about what things are we going to work on, what if somebody cries, how are you going to react? There's a supervised visit. They talk about a follow-up after the fact, what went really well and maybe what didn't go so well and what they can work on next time. Life skills, things like budgeting, nutrition, what to feed your children, certainly drug and alcohol education, given the fact that that is unfortunately a major factor in most of our cases in juvenile court is substance abuse. And so these birth parents are given all of these life skills so that they can be a safe and appropriate family. There's nothing like seeing a mom or seeing a dad work so hard and get their child back into their home. Those are amazing, great, joyful days. Just as joyful, in fact, as an adoption day. Because when a child can go home to their birth parents, because when it's safe, they should go home to their birth parents. And I can tell you in the last 6 months, I've done more adoptions than I've done reunifications. And that's sad. That's not how it should be. But I have hope. I have hope that the SAFFT Center can help a lot of our parents so that they can build their skills. They can learn, understand what it means to be a safe and appropriate parent. So we are absolutely thrilled that the SAFFT Center is here. You give me hope, you're going to give the parents hope. So thank you for coming into Gainesville Hall County. You're very much needed and we're thrilled to have you.
Okay. Now if we can have Chairman Mike Freeman and the Department of Family and Children's Services to speak to us today. They were a huge part of this project. We felt like we needed about $100,000 to do this and do it well. And I came to the DFACS Board of Directors and they said, if you go and you can convince the commissioners, then we'll pledge, around $40,000 to the project. That's amazing, really, truly. We would not have been able to do it without you, without the department. And I know that the Department of Family and Children's Services comes under a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of things that may not work within the system, but we also don't hear about the good things that they do. And so I always try to recognize the department as they are a phenomenal partner of ours with everyone else on the good things that they do. And so this center, which you all will get to see after we cut the ribbon, is really also in part for what you all did at the department. So we thank you, and thank you for being here today to speak to us.
So Ashley and Brian, it's a real pleasure for me, representing the Board of Directors, to welcome you to the community. Some months ago, Ashley came to one of our meetings, made a plea. I believe Judge Burton was in the room at the time, but let me back up just a little bit. Everybody knows that we have a mayor and city council and Hall County commissioners. Everybody knows we have a court system. How many people know we have a DFACS board? You're going to know more about us later. Okay. We are the people that behind the scenes. We are creatures of the legislature. We are volunteers appointed by the county commission for set rotating times. And since I've been the chair, we've expanded a little bit, and we now include what we call stakeholders, representatives of CASA, Judge Burton, several other people in the community, and we would love to have you, if you're interested in that whole process, come with us and be stakeholders. We meet once a month for about an hour. We work behind the scenes. When we found out that most of our foster kids lived out of county, we worked very diligently to try to develop foster homes. And these are the people in the community that can help us do that. We have 3 of our board members in the back. Would you ladies stand up just for a second? We're 7 of us. 3 of us are here. 4 of us are here today. And so it's our job to help DFACS do its job. That's what we do. We work behind the scenes. We work with the communities. What an exciting thing it is to see this many different groups and things represented to come together to do something for the community. That's what our job is, to make things like this happen all the time. Thank you for letting us be part of this process. And now, Laura, if you want to say a word or two about DFACS.
I absolutely will. Hello, I'm Laura Johnson, and I'm with Hall County DFACS. And I want to extend my gratitude to my board. They're awesome. Another round of applause for you. I'm more here today to talk about what you guys have done and what the community has done for Hall County. We want to celebrate the accomplishments that have been made by Brian and Ashley. And just within these walls, we will accomplish one of our vital roles as we implement the Department of Family and Children's Services Blueprint for Change. I don't know if any of you guys have heard that or not. But we're going to empower our families to become the best parents and caregivers that they can possibly be. Within these walls, we're going to attempt to change negative behaviors and build on the positive traits that we all know human beings have. And within these walls, we will change Hall County and the state of Georgia, one life at a time, one child at a time, working with the families. I want to give you guys a hand. This is amazing, and we're so excited at the Department of Family and Children's Services because nobody wants to come to the DFACS office to visit their child. I promise you. And this is such an inviting environment, and it is wonderful, and we really do appreciate it, and the families will also appreciate it. I have connections in Hall County. I don't just work for DFACS, but I was a student at Burnell University. It was once Burnell College, and that was a couple of years ago, back in 1986. So I am honored to be here, to be part of this ceremony. Hall County is at my heart, and I so appreciate it. So with your prayers and support in the community, we can make a difference in this community. The impact that the service that you guys provide is going to have such an impact, and it's going to be measured by the lives of the children and the families that we serve here in Hall County. The mission is simple: stronger families or stronger Georgia. And the old adage says, and I believe you said it, it takes a village to raise a child. And each of us should embrace the philosophy that everything we say and everything we do matters. The decisions we make and the way that we treat others has more of an impact than you would ever realize. And just in closing, I would like to recognize the community partners such as CASA, the school system, law enforcement, our judicial system, the FACTS Board, SAFFT, foster families, and all of you in the community, Hall County and the City of Gainesville, who have given so much of your time and energy to seeing this program be successful. Thank you.
Thank you to the department for all that you're doing as well. So you've heard from our community, but I do in a moment want to welcome up my pastor, Jensen Franklin of Free Chapel in Gainesville, to say a few words as he feels, and then also to pray over this building, dedicate it, and pray over the families and children that we're going to be serving, as well as our staff that are going to be serving them. And it's not Brian and I, truly it's not. I mean, I'm just, as my dad would say, I'm just very bold. But our staff and our volunteers and our board and our partners, they are really who has made this possible. And Brian, I mean, I have to honor you as my husband, but also as my partner here at SAFFT. You have just charged the way, and I honor you for all that you've done. You gave up your career a couple of years ago and came to work with me, and I couldn't have done it without you, so thank you. But if Pastor Franklin would come up for a moment and speak to us and then dedicate this building and give it to God.
Wow, thank you. What an honor to be here today with so many wonderful, remarkable leaders here in our community. Thank you for what you do to these judges and to our wonderful mayor and law enforcement, everyone that's here. And Ashley and Brian, we're so proud of you. We're so thankful for the vision. For without a vision, people perish and families perish and marriages and homes and children lose their way. They lose restraint. They have no hope, as we saw in the video, and they hit bottom. And this is going to be a healing place. This is going to be a place of restoration. And we're so excited for you and thankful for a dream. You know, we're standing in it today, but anyone who's ever dreamed and seen God bless that dream knows that there's so many things this day represents that we're not aware of, the obstacles, the challenges, the adversities, that the voices that whispered in your own head, just give up. It can't happen. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to try. But thank you for your persistence. I've known these people, known Ashley for my wife and I have been married 29 years. We have 5 kids. And we deserve an award, Mayor, for that alone. But I think I dedicated Ashley. That's how long I've known her as a baby. I've known her parents, Randy, and remember, you know, them for so many years. There's a generational blessing there, and I know that's your burden. I want to be very brief, but I have a pastor friend who told me something that I'll never forget, and I think it applies to this place. He said that he was asked to preach a funeral of another pastor who had lost his son, a 16-year-old son, in a drunk driving accident. And, you know, he goes in, and this grieving pastor and his wife, and there were 2 siblings, and they were just, and the whole church was just broken. The family just grieving, and this is an older gentleman and an older retired pastor. And I said to him, what did you say? What do you say to a family that's been through trauma, that's been devastated, that you know from that moment forward, it'll never be the same again. God can heal, God, but it's never going to be the same again. And all of us who have families have had those moments that changes everything. It's not that you can't go on, but you realize things will never be the same again in our family because this has happened. And he said that he preached that day from the Old Testament on a woman named Rizpah. She was one of the wives of King Saul, and she had 5 sons. And when the enemies of Israel invaded and King Saul was killed and the kingdom was taken over by the Gibeonites, the Bible said that they took her 5 sons and they hung them from a tree because they were the sons of the king. And that amazing mother took a cloth and put it on a rock and camped out for 3 months. And while the children were hanging, she would beat off the buzzards and fight off the wild animals and not let them devour the carcass of her children. She did this for 3 months, and word reached the king, and he said, cut them down and bury them in the king's graves, where the kings are in great honor. And that pastor said to me, I told that story, and I preached that day to that family, fight for what's left. Fight for what's left. And that's really what you're doing. It's not that families and lives and people, as we saw in the video, won't make bad choices and go through all that they go through. But it's so wonderful to know that there's a place where people will fight for what's left. I wish my family was perfect, but I've raised real kids. We have a real marriage, real family. And real family doesn't turn out picture perfect. But you don't have to have a perfect family. You just need an intact family. And we've managed to keep it together and get through every struggle and love like we've never been hurt, and just keep loving one another, forgiving one another, restoring. And so may this be a place that you fight for what's left, that you restore and you bring families back together, because the family is the greatest bottom line blessing to communities. If the family is strong, the community is strong, the nation is strong. So, Father, we love you today, and we thank you for this wonderful place. Thank you for Ashley and Brian and their vision and their dream. We believe it was from you. Thank you for all of these wonderful volunteers and all of these friends and donors and people who are in this room who have given of themselves to make this day possible. And we just pray your blessing upon this place. We pray your grace upon this place to heal and to help and to encourage. I love the words the young lady said, that she received positive affirmation from this organization. And I just pray that there would be that building, that lifting that would come to build homes and families. Bless everybody here. Thank you for their remarkable service to our community. And we pray your favor and blessing upon this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Well, I am overjoyed at, again, all of you being here today. And last, Brett, you want to join me real quick? Okay. I also want to honor our parents. I know my mom couldn't be here today. She's working, and your mom couldn't be here today because she has things going on, but our fathers are here. And so if you would both please stand and just let Brian and I honor you for supporting us. And we wouldn't be where we are today without our families and having a strong family and showing us the right way and raising us in godly homes. And so we are both honored that you're here. And I know my sister's here and my other family's here too, and so I honor you as well. But okay, so let's cut the ribbon. And after we cut the ribbon, there are refreshments on the right side. And if you guys will just hold for a few minutes, maybe mingle, and then our staff will do some tours for the facility. We had it closed off, but this area, you can go in any of these rooms. These are the visitation rooms, and then there's a back side, and I can't wait for you all to see it. But if I can invite the 2 rows up to the front with us, and the chamber, our chamber representative, then that will really mark the unveiling of this in our community. We've been serving families in this facility for about 2 weeks now, and I just cannot wait for the community to see the restoration and the lives change, and I claim that. And so with that, we will cut the ribbon. All right, on the count of 3. Will y'all count us down? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I hope it's going to make a lot of difference for your workers to have this kind of facility available. What a wonderful opportunity. I think it is.
I think so too. It's going to have a huge impact on the families and the children here in Hall County, and I'm very excited.
And we as the board, we're pleased to have a part in it. It took a lot of pieces to get this thing together, and we were so fortunate to be part of it. So it's a real treat for us to be here at this celebration today. What they do, I think the pastor hit it exactly, to not abandon the remains. And so often in our world, I think we do abandon the remains. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
And this is a place where that's not going to happen for some people and for some children. So I think it's a great program.
Well, it's amazing, this organization, what it has done in Forsyth County and Dawson County and now in Hall County, and as a pastor of children and families at Free Chapel, this is just amazing to see how this is going to change the atmosphere of just families in this area and just rebuilding lives. And it's just amazing. We see so many young people who don't have families, and we're excited to partner with this organization, but it's just amazing. This is going to change generations to come for years and years to come. So it's amazing. We're just amazed at what God is doing through Brian and Ashley and through SAFFT and everyone with the organization. Amazing.
My name is Randy McGee. I'm Ashley Anderson and Ashley's father, and very proud of my daughter for what her vision is for SAFFT, to help children that need help, to help families, to bring the families back together, and as a parent, and to watch her grow as a child is unbelievable, and I've never been so proud of my daughter and what she's accomplished here at SAFFT.
We had a great presentation today regarding the judicial system and the involvement, and quite honestly to help bring families together so long term there don't have to be judicial involvement in the criminal justice system. So I think it's a great program. Well, quite honestly, there's local control, and I think it's very important that there's involvement from all aspects of the community. Well, the community definitely needs to make sure that we take care of our most vulnerable, which are our children. So I think it's very important that everyone's involved in the system. Well, quite honestly, there's some staggering statistics that were talked about today that 80% of people in the prison population have been through the foster care system and obviously didn't have quality experiences, and that's staggering if you think about it.
Hello, I'm Brian Woodson, pastor at Free Chapel, and what an honor it is to be a part of the SAFFT family and the SAFFT story. Brian and Ashley, you guys have done an amazing job of telling the story, revealing the need, and when the need is revealed, the resources and the volunteers and the people come running. And my wife and I and our 5 kids are behind you 100%. And the need is growing in our community. As one of the judges mentioned today, it's unfortunate that the need is prevalent, but we're thankful that a place like SAFFT exists and is moving like wildfire throughout Georgia. And we believe that you're going to touch this state, but also touch the world and inspire many other people to have a like mind as SAFFT does. And so whatever we can do to get behind you, we are there. And whoever else is going to hear this message or this broadcast, get involved, give your time, give your resources, use your influence to change a life and a child. God bless you. Thank you so much.
What a beautiful organization, SAFFT, and it's amazing to see what's going to take place here at this facility, but what's already taking place at the other locations. I just know that this nation, this community needs families. We need to have families restored together, reconciled, and just, it's a beautiful thing when you see families that are being restored, hope being brought to a community, and we're thankful for that. Love this beautiful facility. If you could just see all the things that we've seen, the tables with toys on it, the beautiful furniture. I want to thank everyone who's played a part in making this happen, and look forward to seeing more people involved in just foster care. And we love you, Brian and Ashley. Congratulations.
I'm here in the beautiful new SAFFT building that is touching this community in a remarkable way with Brian and Ashley, and so proud of what God is doing, so thankful for the dream and the vision that this couple had. Nothing but a vision and a heart for kids and families. And today there's an amazing place here that's healing lives and restoring families and empowering foster homes and even those who are adopting children, empowering those people, helping them as they go through all the changes that families go through when you bring someone into your home. And we're just so proud of you guys and just thankful for what's happening here, and we all need to get behind this and just minister to families in this community greater and greater.